Good morning. Welcome to, forgot to even look at the date today, your November 18th Rotary Club of Ames meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Does anybody know of anyone that could use some extra Rotary thoughts?
How much people in the Middle East for the wars that are going on there?
Definitely. Also, of course, holidays can be tricky for a lot of people, so keep those people in your thoughts and prayers. Yeah, Mike.
Lisa Essinger used to be with the foundation. Her mother passed away last week.
Okay. And keep all those people in our thoughts. Just take a moment. Thank you. Please be seated. We are doing Brag Bucket today. There were some other announcements, weren't there? Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to? I'll do our guests first. Yeah. Okay. We have one guest today. Kevin, would you like to introduce your guest? Do we have a mic? Where'd that go? Oh, okay.
Thank you, Karen. I'm Kevin Burke with Discover Ames. I'd like to introduce Bonnie Alley, my Director of Business Development for Discover Ames.
Welcome, Bonnie. And I felt like there was one more thing you told me to announce, but it's not up there.
All right. Roll it for next for the holidays.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so on Monday, December 2nd, instead of a regular meeting, we're going to have an extra festive lunch. Please bring a spouse or a guest. There will be no charge. That's kind of our Christmas fun. We're calling it our holiday luncheon, and then we'll have a speaker from the Tuba Christmas. So it should be very festive. I'm thinking, is that our next in-person?
That is our next in-person.
Yeah, so get excited.
Wait, we're doing this in place of an evening. The evening just got a little too expensive and a little too crunched for time.
Yeah,
So.
tough to schedule holiday parties, as I'm sure you all know. So we'll just do it in place of our regular meeting, and so wear something festive if you feel like it, something in the colors or whatever. And yeah, bring a guest, so it should be lots of fun. And thank you for this photo. I think this came from Allison. So Friday night was the giving gala for Rotary International down in Des Moines at the Food Prize Building. And this is our wonderful showing from the Rotaract group at ISU. So they were all very excited to go, and they went down and spent their Friday night. I'm not sure that's what I would have done when I was a college kid, so more kudos to these kids. But they went, and it sounds like it was a lovely evening. There we go. That sounds more like college.
Oh no.
Oh, we had a chair mishap there. So anyway, that kind of rolls into Brag Bucket for, we are deciding to send our funds that we get in this Brag Bucket today for just to sponsor our Rotaract Club. We've had some things that we've been helping them with. We'd like to continue. So this specific Brag Bucket, we've decided to put these funds towards our Rotaract Club members because they are really taking it in stride. They are doing wonderful things and really having the Rotary spirit. So without further ado, we've got our first Brag Bucket.
No bucket. No bucket. I'm happy to announce that our Global Grants Committee has just been awarded the next water grant, $358,000.
Wow.
We're busy cleaning up a few details, and then the building construction and all that stuff will start soon. So there you go.
Wow, congratulations, wonderful news.
I'm going to pick on this gentleman here because it's now the unofficial rule that if your phone goes off during Rotary, you got to put a buck in the brag bucket. Yeah.
Everybody quick, get your phones on silent.
Thank you. Just a second.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Selden Spencer, I just want to brag that I have a new granddaughter. Paige Frances Spencer was born November 9th out in California, and 2 days after my wife's birthday, Jean Frances Spencer. So,
Exciting.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks. What a perfect brag.
My turn over here, Reiny Friedrich. Time to brag a little. I'm going to be a great-grandfather, not once, but twice, 2 different granddaughters. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah. Now, one other thing I just want to tell you about. On your table, there's a little flyers I dropped off. December the 4th, that's a Wednesday. There's also an Iowa State basketball game that night. Out at the Iowa State Alumni Center, we will have the Business After Hours holiday party. You're all invited, okay? Santa Claus will be there. Okay, y'all come. Thank you.
Wonderful.
So, Reiny, are you Santa Claus?
Well, it's hard to follow Reiny, but my son just got married a month ago to a young lady in Minneapolis who's a civil engineer, and my daughter just engaged, so I have 2 new members of my family.
Well, big news. Awesome.
Thank you, Reiny.
Tammy Coolbeck, Stevens Auditorium. As we're talking about the holidays, we have lots of fun holiday events coming up. On December 7th, we have a Tuba Christmas, and you'll hear more about that on December 2nd. On December 8th, we have 2 university music events, the Holiday Festival and the Symphonic Band, Wind Ensemble, and Concert Band later in the day, so it's twofer. And then on December 5th, we actually start out with Dear Evan Hansen, our Broadway, and then, of course, our 43rd annual Nutcracker on December 14th and 15th. So please come out.
Wonderful.
George Belitza's here.
Wait.
Oh, the money. Oh, that's the invitation. There we go.
You're on.
All right, good to go. I'm your representative to the MLK Day Planning Committee, and I'm happy to share that for the 4th year in a row, we will be sponsoring the winner of the MLK Day Youth Essay Contest, $200 that our club gives each year. This year is really special because the NAACP is going to match our $200, and now the top prize will be $400. And you might remember the young man who won last year spoke to our club, or presented his essay to our club and got a standing ovation. And George Trice was our speaker. He was the main speaker at the MLK Days celebration. He also spoke to our club. So it's a great way for us to recognize the many contributions MLK has made to our country and to civil rights struggle. One other thing I'd just like to add that I'm really proud of, the past 3 years I've been chairing for Rotary District the Prevent Human Trafficking Action Team. And we have 17 clubs that are participating in that action team, and all providing prevention programs in their own communities on human trafficking. The lead group is a group from Central Iowa made up of 10 clubs, and for the past 3 years they have had fundraising for human trafficking survivor programs. They had their big event this last fall, and over those 3 years they have raised $91,000 for Central Iowa human trafficking survivors for services to them. Really proud of Rotary and those Central Iowa clubs that all participated. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, George.
Jennifer Ellis with Friendship Arc, and on November 3rd marked my 10-year work anniversary, so I've been with Friendship Arc for a decade. Also, I want to invite you all out on December 5th at 8:30. We'll be having a ribbon cutting for our newest home. It's a 24-hour site for adults with intellectual disabilities at 5814 Westfield Drive. So if you want to come and take a tour of our newest home, we'd love to have you. Thank you.
I'm very pleased to announce something that's Charles Knicker. I'd like to, I think I announced some time ago that I was one of 7 contributors, the co-editor of this book, Raising America, Building a More Perfect Union. And the point is, this is one of the last copies available. We have to go to second printing, which we're deciding tomorrow. And one reason I think it is because that book has just spread like we wouldn't have thought, because we do get into helping people who have disagreements about how the election was going, how the candidates were going. We have civil techniques on civil discussions, and that's pretty hard to do, particularly now. And for example, we'll be presenting tomorrow night in Davenport. We're getting a lot of invitations now to do presentations around the state. So we're very pleased with this.
Congrats. That's amazing.
Jamie Courtney, Iowa Home Crafters. I mostly just wanted to donate to the Rotaract kids that went, but I guess I just thought of a couple minutes ago, we do have a new website that launched, iowahomecrafters.com, so check it out.
Awesome. Thanks.
And anybody else who wants to just put money in for the Rotaractors, that would be great. You don't have to speak to the mic.
My name is Park Woodle, retired from real estate. Regarding the Rotaractors, there were 8 attending, as we know, and their way to this very inspiring evening was paid by district leadership. So it was no cost to them. The club in Iowa State has 29 official members right now. They have 100 on their mailing list. And guess how many University of Iowa Rotaractors are on their roster? I think 20. 27? I thought it was 20. Anyway, the number is less than Iowa State's Rotaractor Club.
Regardless.
So the competition is unofficially going.
That's great.
And I'm going to capture, we're going to have several of the Rotaract members that did attend that gala will come and do a presentation later in the year.
Oh, great.
Jim Patton. I had a chance to go to the event on Friday night too, really well attended. About 120 people attended at the World Food Prize. The Rotaract students were just overwhelmed. It was meant to be a fairly formal event. So as you could guess, even for most of us, to put a tie on was quite an effort in itself. But what I wanted to highlight is that yesterday after church, I visited with Simon Marshall Gilbert, who was our RILA student last year. And he came to spoke after RILA and was very impressed. But Simon has been asked to be a counselor next year for RILA, and he's already actively recruiting several RILA students to attend. So keep your billfolds open because it's about a $500 event. And if we can send several, we should do that. Thank you.
That's great. How old, can I ask a question? How old do you have to be to go to RILA? Just any high school age, or do you have to be 16, sophomores and juniors? That's great.
Back in January, I stood up and said, "Hi, I'm Allison Walter, retired." That didn't last very long. I am now the Main Street Director for Jewel, Iowa, as of this month.
Oh, congrats, Allison. That's great. Oh, Karen's gonna brag too.
The sad part is I don't have any money today. But we do have Venmo now.
I was gonna say, you can Venmo Karen.
We do have Venmo.
You set it up.
So I can do that, and I will. I'm going to brag on my day job as director of Story County Community Foundation. A couple of weeks ago, we awarded a record number, 22 organizations, with nearly $190,000 across all of the county. We had 2 small business owners, entrepreneurs, that we awarded $2,500 each to. I'm hoping to get them to speak in January. One's called Frozen Gains, and it's a high-protein ice cream for people who have gaining weight issues. I don't qualify for just that. The other one you might have seen is Peace and Freedom Bakery. It's a Ukrainian bakery, and they're opening up a Main Street location, and we gave them some money for signage. But I'm glad that we were able to build and do good in the community.
Yeah, that's so great.
You're requesting money first.
I'm Jim Lohr. I don't have anything to push right now, but Karen didn't have any money to put in, so I put in some for her, okay? But I want you to give her a round of applause for the incredible job she does for us.
Yes, definitely. So great.
Jim, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, no.
Now that we have Venmo, I can actually raise my hand and put a brag in.
Me too.
So, personal and professional. Professionally, we are getting ready at ChildServe to start a massive kitchen renovation, which is about 25 years in the making. So we're really pumped about that, and that is due in most part because of a grant that we received through Story County. So that will be start of December. We're going to be working on that, and then personally, my sophomore, Eleanor, just received her first academic letter for her freshman year, so we were very proud of her for that. So, and Kate Reynolds, and I work at ChildServe. So.
That's great, Kate. Thanks.
I should have been more efficient with my brag, but this may have been announced before, but I just saw him sitting here. Warren Madden recently had a building named for him on campus, so I believe it's the administration building, so congratulations.
Yeah, what an honor. So good.
All right, why don't we conclude? Iowa State had a victory this last weekend. I'm going to put in some money for that.
Yes. That's great. And I'll Venmo you, but I'll end with a quick brag. I was trying to think of something, but this is a pretty good one. My husband and son were in Fort Wayne, Indiana this weekend, because why not? That's where they played hockey. And my son is 12, and he came home with the Outstanding Player of the Weekend award. And that means a lot. I don't really care about the actually playing, but he was slept in the award last night. It's this huge chain and this huge 3D printed thing that says, greatest player of the weekend or something. And I just thought that was so cute. So those little things matter to kids, which is great. So anyway, thank you all for your brags. That was wonderful. Lots of wonderful news, personally and professionally. You'll love to see it. I think, John, do you have a few minutes to come up and present some Paul Harris Awards? Right? Paul Harris Fellowships.
So I need you to have yours so you can present them to them. All right, good afternoon. November is Rotary's the Foundation Month, and so we have a pleasure today to recognize a few of our members with Paul Harris Fellows. Before we do that, I'm just going to give a very brief update on our club's support for the foundation. Our members, for the most part, contribute to two funds, the annual fund and the Polio Plus fund. However, this year we also have had a significant contribution to the endowment fund. So over on the left, you can see the annual fund. We have a goal this year of $16,000. That compares to $18,500 last year. And we're just under $6,000 to date towards that goal, and this is through mid-November. On average, our members have given $44 per member. That's better than the district average, which is about $25 at this point. Last year, our members averaged $128 per member, and that was right on top of what the district average was. In the middle is the Polio Plus Fund. We have a $10,000 goal. Last year, we were just close to $13,000. Our members, we're about 42% of that goal right now, with our members having, I can't quite read that number, but I think it's what, $31. The district average right now is around 10, so we're way over the district average. Last year, our members gave on average $90 to that fund. As you recall, some clubs last year really overperformed, and the district on average last year was just over $100 per member. The Rotary Foundation tracks a few metrics that relates to annual giving. So what do members give each year? And these are the three key ones. The first one is every Rotarian every year. And this one is more tracked at the club level. They encourage every club to have all its members be a member of this every Rotarian every year. And to do that, it means that the members contribute at least $25 to the annual fund. And there's also a metric in there that says to participate in a Rotary activity, but I don't really, at least from my knowledge, they don't really do much in tracking that particular metric. The other is a sustaining member. We're all encouraged as Rotarians to be sustaining members, and that is to give $100 or more to the annual fund. And then another metric they look at is the Paul Harris Society, and that are those members that give $1,000 or more within the fiscal year to one of those four funds listed there. An approved foundation grant, for example, would be the one that we just heard about, that our club has an approved grant for a water project in Tanzania. If you give to that, that counts towards this Paul Harris Society. And so here's some of the statistics of how our club measures on those particular measures. On the left is the number of members at the beginning of the fiscal year, so 1st of July. Every Rotarian every year, you can see we already 116 members have achieved that. We typically get pretty close to 100%. We don't, some members leave fairly soon into the fiscal year. Some come late in the fiscal year, so they don't quite hit that metric. Sustaining member, we've already got, 10 members that have achieved that, given $100 to the annual fund. We are typically around 30 for the year, so we don't really do very well on that one. And then on the Paul Harris Society, already 2 of our members have given over $1,000 to the foundation. We typically run around 10 or so, which is very good. There's several lifetime metrics that the foundation tracks, and these are the 2 ones that we most focus on. The Paul Harris Fellow, so over the lifetime of you as a Rotarian, they track how much you're giving to the annual fund, Polio Plus fund, or an approved grant. And once you hit $1,000, you're eligible for Paul Harris Fellow recognition, and then there's multiple levels. Once you get to $10,000, you move into this major donor category, and then there's multiple levels there as well. So what are the metrics for our club? We've got currently 132 active members, and 3/4 of these have already achieved a Paul Harris Fellow recognition. 27 are very much on their way, and 4 have yet to donate. This stratifies our club by Paul Harris classification, and it's really gratifying to me that in this club, 40% of our members are Paul Harris Fellows +2 or more, having contributed $3,000 or more to the foundation. So I think you should give yourself a hand. That is just tremendous support. So at this point, we'll recognize, we have a few of our members who are here today that we want to recognize with Paul Harris Fellows. And the first I'd like to bring up is for a Paul Harris Fellow +1, Sinian Jong Durbin. Sinian, if you would come up. And there'll be a photo shoot as well. Sinian is an incredible supporter of the foundation. She's been a member of our club for 2 years and already having achieved Paul Harris Fellow +1. Thank you so much, Sinian. Paul Harris Fellow +3 is Kent Frankenfeld. And Allison can stay here because now we'll go to a Paul Harris Fellow +5, Allison Walter. Allison is also a member of the Polio Plus Society of District 6000, which says that she commits to give $100 or more to the Polio Plus Fund every year. So thank you so much, Allison. Now, a Paul Harris Fellow +7, Max Porter. Thank you, Max. +7, that's at $8,000 or more contributions to the foundation. And now it's with great pleasure to present a Paul Harris Fellow +8, so that's one step away from being a major donor, and that is Jim Black. Thank you, Jim, for being such a great supporter of the foundation. All right, thank you.
Thanks, John, and congratulations. That's always an amazing presentation. Next, I'll invite up Kevin Burke to introduce our speaker for today.
Congratulations to all those Paul Harris winners. It's definitely inspiring to hopefully the rest of the membership to support that. This afternoon, I'd like to introduce Stacy Hansen. She's the Executive Director for the Iowa High School Speech Association, and she has served in that role since 2022. Stacy was a high school drama and speech director for 30 years at Valley West Des Moines High School, and prior to that was at Clinton. Stacy is a very proud 1992 ISU grad and always a farm girl at heart, having been raised on meat and corn and potatoes in Exira, Iowa. Stacy?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin, for that warm introduction. And most important, and I hope that everybody heard that. Most important thing about today is go Cyclones, right? Right. Yes. 1992, proud graduate of ISU. And I am very honored to be here today to visit about the Iowa High School Speech Association. And our belief is based on the philosophy that no other form of activity is as important as that of learning to communicate effectively. And not only in front of people, but what you all are doing here today across the table and having fellowship and connection with your dear neighbors. What I'm going to visit with you about today is, yes, the IHSSA. I'm going to visit about who we are in our organization as individuals. I'm going to share with you how we connect with our 40,000 students across the state. I'll offer to you what our season looks like, and then I'll also share with you how we are very similar to our partners in athletics and music in education in the state. And then finally, when you leave today, you're going to have a sense that we all win. And my goal for you would be to convince you that at the end of this, you can be a judge for the IHSSA. You really can. So the first part here, who are we? Who are we as individuals in the IHSSA? We represent 40,000 students in all 99 counties, and that is rural, that is metro, that is private schools, that is public schools, that is big school, that is small school. We were founded in 1943. We have 4 debate categories. We have 11 large group categories, and large group categories, those would be like your theatrical events. And then we also have 14 IE events, and those things would be like public address and prose and poetry. Throughout the state, you see our memberships, and after today, that number is going to increase from 982 to well over 1,000 judges that we have in the state. Our main executive board, we are divided into 4. Our main executive board, our principal up in Hartley, Melvin Sanborn, is Blake Wint, and then over in Decorah, Superintendent Tim Cronin, and down in the Southeast District, Superintendent Brian Yeager, and then in the Southwest District, the principal at Creston, Bill Messerol. We also have a coach at large from Cedar Rapids, Washington, Ms. Carrie Tinkham, and then our partner, we call the Iowa Girls High School Association our sister, and Erin Gerlich, the executive director of the Iowa Girls, also serves on our executive board. In terms of our committees, we have a judge certification committee, a convention committee, a large group all-state committee, an IE all-state committee, a debate committee, a CAST committee, that's a computer assistant scheduling tool committee, and then we have district officers. And all of these people, just like you, they all volunteer. They volunteer to make education a better spot for our students. Our newest group we call RISE. This is the RISE IHSSA Student Ensemble. This would be like our student advisory board. And these 12 students 12 of them, they auditioned and were selected by a jury. They are absolutely our voices of our students. And what they do, because we know sometimes students, they tend to listen to students, and they don't always listen to their teachers. So we wanted this RISE group to absolutely amplify who we are. They use their social media skills, and they are promoting topics that are important to them. They also, one of their initiatives for each of the 12 students, they have to have a community engagement project. And I was so interested in what you said about the human trafficking and the MLK Day. So each of the students, they each pick out a local service project that is important to them, and then they get out into their community and use their leadership skills, use their speaking skills to do good in their community. We have a Hall of Fame, and those Hall of Fame members, although maybe retired and maybe not retired, they keep on giving back. And that Hall of Fame, they have scholarships that they promote the benefits of speech education, and they absolutely are always with us, and we rely on those Hall of Fame members to be, just like you again, the guiding light and the fabric, and to remind us of our North Star. So how do we connect? That's the H, the Iowa High School. How do we connect? This is our website, and we invite you all there to check out our website. Each week, we have a weekly Curtains Up that gives the little talking points of what's coming up in the week and the schedule. We also have a monthly newsletter that goes out to our members and our judges. And we also have a presence on social media. Our season, what does our season look like? Our season, actually, it is year-round. It is year-round. We are just coming off of an incredible convention at the Gateway Hotel right here in Ames, where 350 of our teachers gathered for a 2-day PD that offered all types of programming in teacher engagement and how to keep students involved in activities and best practices in speech and theater and debate education. Currently, we are gearing up for our state debate tournament, and that is at DMAC in Ankeny. And then we really get into the meat and potatoes of our season in January. Now, what you're all gonna want to take note of is that March 15th, event, state individual events, is just down the street at Ames High School. And I know that Chuck Ripley there, the speech director, would absolutely welcome your expertise to be a volunteer there if you are available. Something else you want to take note of is that All-State Festival. I'm jumping back. That's at February 22nd. Do you see that? The Iowa State Center, Ames, that's our bowl game. We know that this Friday night, there's going to be, and Thursday, there's going to be some major football at the Unidome. To our speech students on February 22nd, that's their Unidome experience. They absolutely live for this, whether they're performing or whether they're in the audience. This is absolutely their day where all schools, Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest, they all come together in one place at CY Stevens and celebrate the power and the yumminess of speech and drama activities. So that is that's our season. As I said before, we had a lovely connective time at the Gateway. It was IHSSA plus you, Reach for the Stars. And now I'll move into how we are very, very similar to our dear brothers and sisters in athletics and music. So the IHSSA, we are part of what we call the Federation of Iowa, and that includes the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, that's girls sports. It also includes the Iowa High School Athletic Association, that is boys sports, and it also includes the Iowa High School Music Association. Now the boys office and the Music Association, they share offices in Boone, while speech and the girls, we have our office in West Des Moines. And although we are 4 separate associations, we're all on the same page. And we have the same eligibility policy. We work together to make sure that students can participate in both athletics and the arts. They should be. They should be. It is high school. They should have those opportunities. And Tom Keating and Thad Driscoll and Aaron Gerlich and myself, that is our goal, to make sure that students are getting the best experiences and activities everywhere. We also work together for a unified calendar, making sure that state swimming and those students that are participating in state swimming or in state wrestling, that again, they're able to do speech and music too. Finally, I'm at the A, IHSSA. And we know for sure that what we are creating in speech education, we're creating future citizens, good citizens. We're creating future good neighbors. We're creating people that want to give back to their communities. As I said earlier, not everybody is going to go on in life and be on a stage. Not everybody is going to be afforded the privilege to have a microphone and a screen. But everybody, they're going to go to potlucks. They're going to have to go across the field. They're going to have to check on that fence and help out that neighbor because that fence is broken and I've got to make sure that my neighbor's cattle are okay. Or I've got to be the person that on the way home from the football game and I see that car that's on the side of the road and that person needs help. Those are the type of people that we are creating in the Speech Association. Good, kind people who have confidence in themselves and their voices and who they are and how very, very important they are to this world. And you all can help them out. Our judging philosophy it's based on the layman, the common man. And I absolutely invite you all to consider being a judge. You're here today. You can do it. Absolutely. And if not that, at the very least, again, I invite you all to help out Ames High School in March and help out Chuck Ripley. He's a great guy. He's an absolutely wonderful person. Thank you again, Kevin, for this very warm invitation. I love all the good that is happening in here. So, thank you so much, friends. Do you have questions for me, perhaps, that I can answer? I'm sure there's a question. Yes!
Surprisingly, I have a question. So, Stacy, we saw on one of your slides a lot of the different things that you do, and when I first thought of speech, I always thought, well, it's just debate and just giving a speech kind of a thing. But the All-State Festival has many other competitions. I saw mime was one of the things. I know there's broadcasting. Can you talk about some of the other competitions or the other facets of just the All-State Festival?
Yes. So we have 3 different series. You heard Kevin, we have the debate series, and that's where we have Student Congress, Policy, Lincoln Douglas, and Public Forum. We also have this large group series, and this is what's going to be going on at CY Stevens and Sheeman and Fisher Theater. And those events are things like one-act play, choral reading, readers theater, musical theater, improv, ensemble acting, mime, short film, television news, and radio news. And then our 3rd series, and those are more of the oratorical events. We call those our IE events. And those are things like prose, poetry, lit program, musical theater, spontaneous speaking, after dinner speaking, I think I said spontaneous. So those are the more student-written types of things, and they're just one-on-one. Whereas at the large group, those things are done with a team. At the IE series, it's just that student by themselves with no one to hold on to for support. Pretty incredible what they do. Mm-hmm.
Hi,
yes.
Kate Reynolds. Did you see or have your coaches seen any effect of the pandemic in participation in some of these activities?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Great question. So during the pandemic, we continued. And how we continued is through things like this. So right now, there is somebody out there, hi friend, out somewhere. So we were still able to continue our events because we had that camera and we figured out how to have our contests through long distance learning. We also had situations, absolutely, where we had student in the room and then the judge, those types of that safe speaking. In terms of our enrollment with our students, we had a slight decline through that, but we are right back up. Students want to participate. They want to be engaged. They want to be held accountable. They want direction. Their parents want that for them too. They absolutely do. Super question. Thank you.
I used to work for the Ames Convention and Visitors Bureau when it was the Bureau. I think people would be amazed to know how many people are involved in that All-State Festival weekend, because it brings a lot of people to our community.
Yes. So we have about 2,000 students that actually perform. So at the beginning of the season, in large group, there's about 20,000 students that participate at district contests, and then it goes down to about 12,000 at state contests, and then it goes down to the top 2,000 performers. So there's 2,000 student performers, and then they all bring their friends, and we want them to bring their friends. And then, of course, we have all the parents and guardians and school supports and bus drivers. This is the event. They don't stay on the bus. They get out, and they're right in the seats with us. So we really do. We take over that ISU center, and then every restaurant and every hotel room in Ames is packed with speech and drama kids. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon. I understand the individual events, but explain more about the large group. What do they do? What constitutes a large group, and
Yes.
how are they judged?
Yes, so we all did a large group event at the very beginning of this. Everybody stood up, and we did something called choral reading. What was the first thing that we did at the beginning of this Yeah, and we all said something together in unison. We said the Pledge of Allegiance in unison. And that's choral reading based on Greek theater and how the Greeks stood up and everybody said the same thing, and then Thespis. But that's that'll be next month when I come back. I'll talk about that. So that is choral reading. We also have readers' theater, and that's when you have a script and for 25 minutes, and students are acting out a portion of a play. They don't have props. They don't have costumes. We also do have a one-act play where lines are fully memorized. They have props. They have costumes. They're on a stage. By the way, beautiful stage. This is absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. They have lighting effects. Then there's musical theater. I went to Atlantic High School on Friday night with my mother to see Mamma Mia, the musical that Atlantic was performing. So in IHSSA, they would perform a little snippet from this musical. We also have short film. That's where students will use all of their tech skills and produce a 5-minute video. Television news. I don't know if you're a KCCI fan or a CBS, or what is your news that you like to watch. Students produce that. So team events there. But you'd be very good at choral reading. You already know how to do it. In your churches or your synagogues, too, you feel a lot of choral reading in those types of events. And at football games, too. How do they get the crowd to all cheer and say the same thing at the same time? It's choral reading. It's speech and drama.
What's the role technology is playing with all the development of, devices and audiovisual equipment? How is that influencing these programs that you're talking about in recent years?
So how is technology pushing us forward? So our 3 events, television news, absolutely, you can feel the impact there. Radio news, so we have to use music and sound effects and all the tempo and the timbre of our voice, and they don't get to see us. You take that out, they don't get to see us. So now I have to connect with the audience just with radio. So those 3 events, absolutely, those are the events where tech comes in. We start to see it a little bit with one-act play and what schools choose to do. They might bring screens, they might have slides, they might somehow implement a movie into their one-act play. We're actually, in our IE, that's our individual series, our RISE students, those were those 12 kids, those 12 souped-up leaders in our association. They are actually pushing for an event that just uses technology. So right now, those students have to be present the day of, but they are pushing for what is an event that we can submit something. We're kind of looking at FFA. Those are good leaders. That association, that's a great place to look for. So how can we use technology and get us out there even more? And I can tell you, our students right now with Instagram, oh my goodness, they are way, 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 way ahead of me. So in terms of like marketing and things, we really rely on that social type of media in a most positive way.
Stacy, is it open attendance? Can you buy tickets to come watch, or can you talk about that at all?
Yes. So at the state and the district level, the state one at Ames that you're going to attend, That is, we ask for a $5 donation at the door. And then those funds, the majority of those funds, go right back to the school, is where those funds. When we are at Iowa State, we do have a $12 ticket that is on Bound. That might be a familiar platform for you if you have ever attended an athletic event. We do have a $12 ticket event for that. We do sell out. Yeah.
Congratulations on what you do for the students. And I say that because capabilities that are learned in high school, such as public speaking or drama or voice, are things that students and adults don't have to worry about later. They've already developed those skills, and they're not a problem to them, and they can move on with the rest of their careers. I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you for reiterating that. Thank you. Thank you.
Stacy, can you talk a little bit about the importance of having the students on the Iowa State campus?
On the Iowa State campus. Well, and maybe this is a little selfish. Yes. Being an ISU grad, and again, coming from little bitty IHSSA, there were 28 in my graduating class. I remember walking on the Iowa State campus. It was actually for an engineering day. And my world from IHSSA to ISU went, wow, the whole world, I felt like, was right here. It's right here in Ames. And to have those students come to Ames and walk next to Fisher Theater and walk next to C.Y. Stevens and then see Jack Trice over there and then the dorms, see the dorms right there. You are giving them, the world. You're giving them light. You're giving them hope. You're giving them the belief that, you know what you do in IHSSA, Iowa, or Shelby Tennant, or Union, or wherever that is, you're important, and you know what? Iowa State, we want you. We want you here. You belong here. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to hear. I'll make sure we keep those dates, especially the two Ames dates, in the forefront so that we can all remember to go and get advance tickets, because that was good information too, that it's, yeah, you might not be able to get them, but if you want one, get them early. So please stand and join me in the four-way test. We went right to our time limit today, which I love. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great day.